Many of you teach and have students. So my question is, do you see any generational differences in the way that your students are approaching the law and interpreting the law compared to your interpretations, general interpretations? How are you seeing millennial lawyers bringing new ideologies, new approaches, and new visions to the work?
So I think one thing that I see is a real lack of faith in the court and how it resolves things and how important it is. Just to give you one example, my very first argument was against the Bush administration on Guantanamo, and I was scared out of my mind and to do the argument. And I remember sitting in the courtroom after and listening to the decision coming down, and it's 180 pages long, Justice Stevens saying we won, that the Guantanamo tribunals were getting struck down. And we went out to the media, and like everyone's asking, what does it mean? There's thousands of reporters on the hundreds of reporters on the plaza steps saying, what does it mean? And, the decision is so long, we had no time to review it. But here's what I said to them. I said, here's what happened today. The lowest of the low, this man who was accused of being Osama bin Laden's driver, sues someone, not just anyone, but the nation's most powerful man, the world's most powerful man, the President of the United States, and not in some lower court, but in the highest court of the land, the Supreme Court of the United States, and he wins. That's something remarkable about this country. In other countries, Mr. Hamdan, my client, would have been shot for bringing his case. More to the point, his lawyer would have been shot. But that's what makes America special. And, it reminded me of what the Chief Justice said at his confirmation hearings, which was the great thing about the Supreme Court is on the one side, you can have the fancy corporation and all their law firms and law books piled up high. And on the other side of the courtroom, you've got the little guy with none of that. But if the little guy has a good argument, sometimes he wins. That we've lost, that view of the court. But it is still there. It still happens. And I think it's important on all of us to remember that's the role of the court.
One of the things that I saw was students who knew that I had had a background in employment discrimination work would come in and talk to me and say, I came to law school thinking that I would be a discrimination lawyer. But in the courses that I've been taught, all I've been taught is how many impediments there are to anybody winning, all of the procedural pitfalls, all of the ways in which people lose, and I've lost faith in the area of the law. That's what we have to undo. The constitutional cases are quite remarkable, and they certainly make possible this mythology of the court as the last bastion of rights. But it seems to me, and this may be something that a new court would do, we have to open up the court in other ways as well so that people can envision candidly the kind of career that I had, the kind of career that my husband John Reinstein had, where you went into court for the purpose of vindicating rights, and judges would deal with what you brought to them in a substantive way rather than 1,000 ways of dismissing the case.